to Concussion Talk Podcast, episode 120. I'm with Ryan Straschnitzki of the Humboldt Broncos and of Airdrie, Alberta,
Yeah.
Airdrie, Alberta, near Calgary, just north Calgary. Right? But
Yeah.
we'll talk more. First, I'll thank my sponsor, HeadCheck Health. Concussion Talk Podcast is presented by HeadCheck Health. HeadCheck Health bridges the gaps in concussion care through simple, powerful technology. Join organizations like the Canadian Football League, Track Factory Racing, the Canadian Junior Hockey League, Eastern Washington University, and Volleyball Canada, who rely on HeadCheck Health to improve communication and optimize care. Visit headcheckhealth.com for more. And I also like to remind everybody to please follow me on social media, so Instagram, Twitter, Facebook at Concussion Talk. On Patreon, patreon.com/concussion talk. My website, concussiontalk.com. Good pods. There's more on Acast now. Ryan has a foundation, which we get into after, but just plug your foundation's website now.
Yeah, it's the Straz Strong Foundation.com.
And the Straz is STRAS Foundation.
Sorry, STRAZ.
STRAS, yeah, good thing he's here. STRAZ Foundation.com. But we'll mention that again later. But yeah, so now let's start. We kind of already have, but Ryan, so we just met. We just met just to save you like housekeeping details for the podcast. So this is my first time meeting Ryan and many of our listeners. And so yes, Ryan, could you? I mean, I've always heard about the Humboldt Broncos and all that, and the horrible accident happened 4 years ago, almost 4 years ago today, almost. And but a lot of listeners on this are American, a lot of them are American, but across the world, so they may have not, even though it's a big deal in big story in Canada, and it probably should have been, but across the world, they probably may not have heard of it. So please tell me what happened and your situation, why you started this foundation.
Yeah, so I was playing in Humboldt. For those that don't know, it's a junior A hockey team in Saskatchewan. And our team bus on the way to a playoff game was hit by a semi truck. Unfortunately, 16 of teammates, staff, and coaches passed away and left 12 of us injured. I personally have a T2, T3 spinal cord injury, which means that's a pretty high up injury. So it's just above the nipple line in the chest, which means anything below that I have no function over. I'm continuing to rehab and trying to get activation through core muscles and assisted walking and standing. So it's been a long road, but I'm very, very excited for the future. I've been through a lot, but I know with the support of the world and support of my teammates, anything can be accomplished.
That's the one thing I've reached out to Ryan for, because his attitude is fantastic. And I mean, I know on this podcast is called Concussion Talk. We as in me, I talk only about brain injury and concussion, including concussion. But I just figured that this time we talk about rehab because you have an excellent rehab story, and just your dedication and your actually more to the point, your attitude towards it, I think, is just incredible to hear. So when did you realize that you would do it? When did you come to grips with or know that you would have to go through this hard journey of rehabilitation?
It was about 3 weeks after the accident. I could finally get lifted into a chair by a crane in the
Yeah,
hospital, and I was brought down to a rehab clinic, and they put me down, and I didn't think anything of it, and I instantly fell back, and I'm like,
yeah.
uh-oh. And I and I sat up, and I'm like, what's going on? Like, yeah, you have no core muscles. You're gonna have to use your hands to
Yeah.
balance. I'm like, oh crap. So as I'm doing this, I'm like, okay, you know what? I have no idea how spinal cord injuries work. I'm thinking this will be, a year-long process, right? It's just going to be putting in the work, and then things are just going to come back naturally.
That's what I thought for my brain injury. I thought it was like 6 months at most.
Exactly. Yeah, and you don't know. After talking to lots of the patients at the hospital, they're like, yeah, it could take 5 years, it could take 8 years, it could take 20, it could never happen. You never know. But I'm like, okay, so what can I do about it? Like, and
What
they're
up to
like,
now?
yeah, exactly. They're like, just continue rehab and kind of train your body, train your mind and body to connect again and do what you can to sustain muscle mass to prevent injuries. And then, if you do get the chance to walk again, you'll be healthy and ready. So it's more preparation for the chance that I do get muscle control back versus getting it back through just rehab.
I remember my first, my not first, but like this was actually a couple years in by this point. But I remember my physio said, "You're not going to want to hear this, but I know this woman after she had a brain injury just like yours, and took her 25 years to get back." And I was like, "She's like, you're not going to want to hear this, but she just told me that," and I was like, and now it's been almost 20 years now, and it's been 19 years, and it's been
Wow.
also, I mean, 25 years just doesn't seem like that. It doesn't seem like that big deal because it's been hard. It's been hard, but it's been, as you know, it's been because you learn so much. That it's just a new journey, a totally new path. Like it's just
Absolutely. Like
it's
you
not,
almost feel like a doctor at this point,
yeah,
learning all
yeah,
the stuff to do. Like you're so knowledgeable, and then you kind of get an understanding and a perspective from a different sort of mindset, if that makes sense. Like
yeah,
you understand how the world works.
yeah,
Obviously, life is unfair, and it's learning to deal with that.
yeah.
Obviously, in unfortunate circumstances, but it's something you're just going to have to adapt to and learn.
Yeah, yeah. It's like I know for me, I just like my speech too, but also people talk to you like you need to be encouraged, you need encouragement, and like I don't need encouragement. I'm feeling great and I'm happy and I'm doing lots of stuff. And but if you find people talk to you like that, like then they kind of not talk down to you, but kind of talk like as in, oh, this is very happy. You should read this. This is inspiring, and I don't need that. I'm good.
Exactly. Yeah. People will be like, oh, let me help you out. I'm like, no, no, I got it. Thanks. So like it's very nice that they want to help or it's
Yeah,
yeah, sometimes they talk down, but it's again, like you said, you kind of gotta just let it go and motivate yourself, right? You can't
yeah.
rely on others to do it for you.
Yeah, yeah, and actually, one thing I remember I was watched the interview you did with Global News in October, and I read more about on the Strong Straz Foundation, which I'll get you to spell out better again because I messed up. Um, but you're trying to into now because you were what position did you play in hockey first of all?
I was a defenseman.
Defenseman, and now you want to get into sledge hockey. And
Yeah.
I one of my guests slash she had her own podcast, Katie Mitchell. She does a
Okay.
lot with. Do you know her? Do you know her?
I've heard the name. Yeah.
Yeah, she's a physiotherapist and she's doing a lot into like as athletic trainer as well, and with the Sledge Hockey Canada. And so I've heard a lot about Sledge Hockey through her and her like the Canadian women's national team and like Team Ontario and stuff like that. So how when did you decide that you changed focus from hockey to Sledge Hockey?
This was about 4 months after I got into a sled, but in the midst of being in the hospital, I figured, well, hockey's been such a key component in my life. I learned a lot from it, both on and off the ice, that I didn't want to let that spirit die.
Yeah.
So the next best thing was sled hockey for me, and I got in contact with the right people. And 4 months after the accident, I was put back in a sled right away, and instantly kind of brought me back all those memories when I first started playing hockey. And in the sled, I was thinking, you know what, I want to take this as far as I can, and try and play for Team Canada, try and play in a Paralympics. If
Yeah.
I wasn't playing sled hockey, I wouldn't have had these opportunities, right?
Right. Yeah. So it's not hockey like obviously it's different than the hockey that we know of, but like, but they're still the same positions. Like, just still play a defense position, or just kind of like all forward kind of.
Yeah, yeah. Everything's the same in sledge. The rules, the same amount of people and same positions.
And you got to turn like skating backwards. Got to be almost impossible. It's just kind of.
It, it's funny though. You actually don't skate backwards in sled. You're always skating forward.
Oh yeah.
So
So
you
you got
always
to
have an
do a
inherent
full. You gotta learn that with the sticker, stab your picking, you're sticking the ice and spin. Is that what the deal?
Yeah, it's one of the hardest things, but I'm learning it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I not just such hockey, but the Straz Foundation, which is Straz with a Z or a Z for the American listeners.
yeah,
Um, yeah, that there's a lot of adaptive sports that you guys are trying to encourage and to help with fundraise for. So you want to talk
absolutely.
about that?
Yeah. So the reason that we want to fund adaptive sport programs is because I think sport gives people an opportunity to realize that there's, light at the end of the tunnel, that there's more opportunity out there. You could fall in love with the sport, right, and learn so much from everything outside of the sport, teamwork,
Yeah,
leadership, little values like that kind of last with you forever. And getting into adaptive sport, meeting certain athletes was eye opening, right? Everyone has their own story, but when you're playing the sport that you love, regardless if it's adaptive or not, right? Everyone's equal out there. You learn everything,
yeah.
you play, you win, you have fun, and you got to make life enjoyable regardless of the situation you're in. So I think
It's
sport
exactly.
bring,
Yeah.
sport brings a lot of that to the table.
Great. So, are there any at any point? I know that you were junior, you've been hockey your whole life, and that's like, but is that the only sport you know you really, besides for? But yeah, just I guess this hockey is the only sport you have real passion for.
Yeah, I mean, I dabbled in other sports. I played community soccer as a little kid and played a bit of football. But the one other sport that I played quite a bit was golf outside of hockey.
Oh yeah, I
And
saw that on the
it's pretty
read about
stereo,
that too.
yeah, pretty stereotypical of a hockey player to play golf in the summer,
Yeah,
but it's fun. You get to hang out with the boys and just have fun.
and you're learning adaptive golf too, aren't you now? Or you
Yeah,
were from the article, yeah?
yeah, trying it out. Those para golfers, unfortunately, are super expensive. I
Right?
think they're about $48,000 American. So, it's quite expensive just to play the sport of golf. And again,
Yeah.
that's one reasons why I think the Straz Strong Foundation could help fund that for someone who really wants to get into golf, grow the sport, and just enjoy it.
So I was going to ask you more about physiotherapy, but and rehabilitation, but also I want to ask you about the Straz Foundation. So I guess we'll get first one. The Straz Strong Foundation. Just explain where that came from, who started it, or you did, but maybe your parents did. I don't know, but how did it start and
When
when?
I was in the hospital, a local, well, one of my old trainers who I trained with for hockey, he started up the foundation by selling hats, raising
Ah,
money for rehab and my hospital stay. So that kind of started off that way. And once I left the hospital, it kind of died off, and we weren't really making anything. It was there, it was registered, but nothing was really going on. And just recently, I decided, you know what, like after the pandemic, why not start it up again, right? Everyone's going through stressful times. Everyone needs a little bit of help. And that's all the Straz Strong Foundation is planning to do, is just give people help and, better qualities of life. I think, a lot of people could benefit from that. And even if the Straz Strong can't help everyone, at least it spreads the words for other people and inspires other people to do the right thing and, follow along in the same path and help out.
and that's it. That's amazing. I'm going to read your. I'll let you and your values of the foundation. So, what are your main? You're looking to empower adaptive sports and also encourage mental health and disability awareness. Is that
Yeah. Yeah. So our aim is obviously fund adaptive sport programs. We want to help provide rehabilitation needs because, as most know, it's quite expensive to rehab with a disability and can be costly in the future and really kind of drive people away from physio, if anything. And the last point is to raise social awareness. I think the more awareness, the more word spreads, the better, and the more people can help out.
right? I should hit all the points. So yeah, don't worry. I think it's messed up. Okay, yeah, no, there you go. Okay, good. Um, just making sure you're hitting all the points there, right?
Yeah.
You're good though. But so your rehabilitation, you were in hospital in Calgary.
Yeah, it was in. So I started off in Saskatchewan. I got flown to Calgary, and then I went to Philadelphia for a month for rehab, and then I was kind of back home.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So, you learn you got physio for basically right away. Like, did you have a long recovery in hospital otherwise, or
Yeah, I mean, it was about 3 months total in hospital. And then as soon as I left the hospital, which was in June of 2018, I started physio in July. So since July of 2018, I've been going to physio constantly.
wow. So
Yeah.
it can be tiring. It can be really exhausting.
Oh,
But
big time.
even though it looks like it's small movements or whatever, but it should be so exhausting. Your brain dry pattern what you're doing and trying to figure out how to coordinate all the muscles you need you need to use to recruit to help you do these exercises. But
Absolutely.
yeah. What's your typical? I guess physio is the only realization therapy you go to is.
Yeah, that's the only physio I do.
And what's the typical day look like when you started off? So your first like month or whatever.
So the first month of doing physio.
Yeah, roughly. I
So
mean,
the
I'm
first
just, I'm
month,
just guessing.
yeah, like the first month I was in 5 days a week for about, I want to say close to 2 hours.
Yeah,
And
uh,
so yeah, 5 days. So, we're looking at a ton of hours there and
yeah.
a week, right? And it was just constant. It was fatiguing. And as things went on and my body got adapted to the situation and I got stronger and more independent, I'm down to now about three to two sessions a week.
Cool. And so what do you do in this session? You just try to just stand up and how do you I saw that you stood in with a bit of help, but you can stand else now.
Yeah, so we've been doing a lot of assisted standing where they'll hold my hips and legs in place, and I kind of try and find my balance to get stacked in a proper position. We've done some assisted walking where they'll move my legs a little bit and try to promote that brain to body movement. Alongside that, aside from keeping leg health, the number one thing, we also maintain, try to use as much core function as I have, as
Yeah,
well as
yeah,
maintaining good shoulder health and essentially it's for longevity, right? It's keeping
yeah.
legs healthy, shoulders healthy, trying to try and find that mind body connection, but overall just to help me last for years to come.
That's incredible. And so just you just watching this stage hockey, your shoulders are it really like you need obviously chest, obviously the rest of your upper body, but I mean shoulders are your legs basically in sledge hockey.
Yeah.
So your shoulders I mean I guess in hockey they're pretty strong as well, but I mean like but it must be totally different experiences using the picks or they call the granite your stick and your stick
Yeah,
and
the
your what are
stick
they
and
called?
picks.
Take it off because you're right. And then to me to didn't even try to, but yeah. So what do you do with your stick while you're skating? That's
So
what.
you hold it up at the blade so you get more pull, and then
Okay.
it's like a row and then a tricep pull down. So you're driving your hands down while rowing, propels you forward, but at the same time, if you're stick handling and shooting, you got to slide your hand down the stick to stick handle, push the puck forward, slide your hand back up, and keep skating. So it's very, very meticulous and it takes a lot of coordination and strength, but I enjoy it.
Yeah, it's fun. It's must have been fun to learn because we're so much like hockey. Like you knew like, oh yeah, you do this. Okay, that makes sense. Because we used to do this
Exactly.
this specific movement. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. So your the Straz Strong Foundation is that where can people find that if they want they I mean it's in Gallagher's online or
Yeah, so we have a website and we're starting to promote social media as well to just to kind of spread the word. This first year, we're going to try and run an event at the end of August and early September, a charity golf tournament. But for right now, we're
you
promoting.
play.
Yeah, I'm going to try and get an adaptive golfer and play in the tournament. So
Nice.
we're setting all that up. But right now, we have a website, the strazstrongfoundation.com. You can find me on social media at rstraz, Straz underscore, and then find all the information there.
Yeah, that's how I found you. I found you, and also saw the TSN the in Canada. That's the sports network.
Yeah.
And anyway, that's what scholarship is. And so yeah, they posted something on Instagram about your one of your physio sessions or separate physio sessions. So
Mhm.
yeah, I mean, what I read about the Straz Strong Foundation was just so remarkable. So, and
Thank you.
your attitude has just been, I mean, just so it's great, a great attitude just about life and not just sports, but about life in general. Just about how like life is a fun experience if you're lucky enough to have a chance to make it fun. If that makes any sense, not belaboring the point there, but it can be really fun no matter what your circumstance. And yeah, so I just wanted well, congratulate you on your work and also on your foundation and on your attitude. And
Yeah, no, thank you.
yeah,
Thank
so
you. Thank you for having me. I mean, this is a great platform to spread the word, and you seem like a great guy, and I'd love to help you out in any way I can. So just let me know, and we can get something figured out.
great. Thanks a lot, Ryan.
Yeah, thank you.
The music at the beginning of this podcast is by Ben Sound, www.bensound.com.